I literally just filmed the video without having my mic on. Oh, I just forgot to turn it on and yapped for almost 15 minutes. Because that happened, we're gonna do it again, unfortunately. Anyways, welcome to episode 2 of Reading with Renee, where we read random we're not gonna say shite. Where we read Substacks or articles or poetry or whatever that I decide to read. It could be journal entries too, but today we're gonna be reading a Substack, and I actually heard about this through a YouTube video, which I will also be linking down below. This one's by Hannah Bay, and it's called Orbit Theory. Stop thinking about changing your life and actually start changing it. There is a version of your life you almost keep living. You know the one where you sorted it, started the thing, left the situation, moved toward the vision that's been sitting in the corner of your mind, like a coat you keep meaning to take to the dry cleaners. You can picture it in startling detail, the morning routine you flow through, the career that fits, the inbox that isn't eating you alive. You know exactly how it would feel to finally be living it, and yet, here you are. Not stuck, exactly. Stuck is too still to describe this because you are moving. You're thinking about it, researching it, talking about it over dinner, saving the Instagram posts about it, writing it in your notes app at 11 p.m. like a small prayer. You're in motion. It's just that the motion is circular. You keep coming back to the same plan, the same idea, the same almost start point. This is what I've started calling orbit theory. I think about this through the lens of the film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, but just not in the chaotic hot dog fingers way, more in the idea running through it that there are multiple versions of your life running in parallel. Versions where you said yes, you left earlier, or you started before you felt ready. In physics, there is this concept called quantum superposition, the principle that something can exist in multiple states all at once until a choice is made, and then it collapses into one reality. It's the Schrodinger's cat in a box thought experiment where the cat can be both dead and alive simultaneously. Don't worry, no actual cats involved, which I know is a slightly strange way to think about your life, but also not entirely inaccurate. Because it really can feel like you're holding all these versions of yourself at once, the one who changes things and the one who keeps things the same, the one who sends the email and the one who leaves it sitting in the drafts, the one who steps forward and the one who circles back. And for a long time, you exist somewhere in between them. I can remember approaching New Year's Eve in 2018, passing time in that in between week, flipping back through old planners, the ones you convince yourself will change everything just by existing, and noticing the same goals rewritten in slightly different handwriting year after year. Nothing was dramatically off track. I wasn't failing in any obvious way, but I wasn't exactly getting anywhere either. I was gently unchanged and left sitting there with a realization that I'd been living variations of the same year on repeat, which is not how you want to feel as you approach your mid 20s. And that's the thing about orbiting. It can be sneaky if you're not looking close enough. It doesn't always look like failure. It can even feel like proximity, like you're close enough to the life that you want that you can almost claim it without ever quite fully stepping into it. Thinking about the thing starts to feel like doing something about it. Planning it starts to feel like progress, and so the loop continues, almost undetectable, until one day you realize you've been circling the same idea for 3 years and you haven't moved an inch closer. And the longer you stay there, the easier it is to believe that thinking about a different life is the same as moving toward one. This month's theory is about breaking orbit and finally, gently, choosing to land. So here's how you know if you're orbiting. 1, you've researched it to death, but you haven't started it. You know every podcast episode, every Reddit thread, every person who's done the thing you want to do. The research feels productive because it is, technically, related to the goal. But at some point, knowing everything about something becomes its own way of not doing it. Number 2, You're waiting for the right version of yourself to begin. The one who's better rested, less busy, more sorted, the one who will wake up one morning and simply be ready. She's coming, you're sure of it. You're just not quite her yet. Number 3, the idea keeps restarting at 0. You start, something interrupts, and instead of picking up where you left off, you go all the way back to the beginning. New notebook, new plan, fresh start. Feels like momentum, but it's just the orbit resetting. Number 4, you mistake having clarity for having moved. A really good journaling session, a conversation that cracked something open, a moment in the shower where you suddenly just knew. These feel like breakthroughs because they are, in a way. But clarity isn't the same as action, and the orbit loves it when you confuse the two. Number 5, there's always one more thing to do first. Finish this project, get through this month, sort the flat out, have that conversation feel a bit more stable. The prerequisite list is endless and somehow always reasonable. Each condition on its own makes sense, but together they form a very polite, very convincing wall. Number 6, you feel mentally exhausted by something you haven't actually done yet. Thinking about a thing takes up almost as much as energy as doing it, except you have nothing to show for it. The orbit is tiring in a way that's hard to explain to people. You've been working so hard on something that hasn't moved. 7, you feel closer to the change than you did a year ago, but you're not. This is the cruel one, the one you only notice when you look back and realize a year ago, you're also thinking about this, also almost ready, also just about to begin. The orbit is so smooth, you don't always feel yourself going around. So maybe the question isn't, how do I change my life? But what would the version of me who already did to start doing differently today? I think I read that quicker than I did the first time, but I'm just kind of upset that I lost the original thoughts or like the original delivery, because the thoughts came to me and the reflection came to me in the moment, and now I have to do it again. But it just helps me become more concise with what I want to say. After reading this and after actually watching the YouTube video that talked about this concept, I had already felt kind of attacked because I had the tendency to plan things. I had so many ideas when I was a kid. I had these business ideas of stuff that I wanted to start, things that I wanted to do. I'm also the type that explores different hobbies and doesn't actually end up sticking to one. I've tried playing the guitar, I've tried playing the piano, I tried playing the flute. I wanted to create sculptures with polymer clay. I also tried sewing. I also know how to crochet, play the ukulele, sing. I also did dancing when I was younger, and none of them actually stick. I never do one thing consistently because it never felt like there was any direction to it, which is kind of okay because hobbies are meant to be enjoyed, not necessarily turned into a routine or a habit, unless you turn it into a business. But it always felt like I needed to be moving all the time, but funnily enough, for somebody that feels like they need to move all the time, there are moments in my life where I feel so stuck and feel like I've not moved at all. And the main things that I learned from this is that you have to do it regardless of how you feel or how ready you feel. Because I heard from somebody else that ready is not a feeling, but a decision. Throughout my life, I've learned to just do the actual thing. It doesn't matter if you feel ready enough, because taking one step forward doesn't matter which direction it is or how you feel, or if you feel like that's the right direction or if other people think it's the right direction. You have to take and continuously take steps forward, and that will get you closer to where you actually want to be. I've also learned that there will never be the right time or the perfect time to do things. You gotta do it as soon as you have even that tiny bit of courage to actually do the thing. Like film the video, upload the video, write the thing, make the decision. Nothing will change in your life if you just keep thinking about doing the thing that you want to do instead of actually doing something about it. There's so many more topics that can be related to the orbit theory and how it affects our day-to-day life and the decisions that we make. But the one thing that I reflected on and I was thinking about earlier when I first tried to film this video is that the way to really get out of the orbit or escape the orbit is to take a step back and take a step forward. Because the orbit theory is this concept that you keep going in circles. You feel like you're doing things, you feel like you're doing more, you feel like you're making progress, but you're never actually getting anywhere. You still find yourself at the same spot that you were a few years ago when you started thinking about doing the thing. And yes, you may know more about the thing that you want to do, but that doesn't mean that you're any closer to actually doing it. If there's anything that I learned from the orbit theory and from my own personal experience is that I actually talked about this in today's stream, and it's that inevitably as human beings, we are bound to have certain regrets. A version of you might have regrets around the failures and the hurt and the pain and discomfort that you experience because you tried doing the thing. And there's another version of you that regrets not even trying to do a thing at all. And it's up to you to make the decision on which kind of regret you want to have, because undoubtedly so, being skilled and talented enough and privileged enough to do something but not actually doing anything about it is the regret that would hurt the most. And you don't want to be at the end of your lifetime thinking that if only you worried less about what other people thought of you, if only you worried less about failing, then maybe you would have lived the life that you actually wanted. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Reading with Renee. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you want me to read for these episodes. I'm definitely enjoying doing this with you guys, and I hope that you also enjoyed it as well. I'll see you in the next one.